Hi, I'm Carol and welcome to week 7 of updates on my Hyrox training. So just to remind you what I'm doing, if you haven't seen any of my videos already, I'm 60 years old and I've entered the Hyrox London Women's Open. So that's at the end of April. So this is week 7 of my training. I've got it all written down here so I know what to say this time, so don't forget anything. So last week, I think I said it was going well. This week has gone well, but I had a little blip this morning where, you have a day where you don't really, you kind of like, your confidence drops a little bit. Well, that happened to me this morning for no particular reason. So I decided that I was going to go and do my session today at the gym and I was going to run, and I really had to, and I was going to run there and back, so it's about 2.6 miles or something. I really had to push myself to go out the door because I don't know, I don't know what was wrong with me, but once I got going I was fine. I think it's possibly because I've had a few little niggles. So I've got an old high hamstring injury which flares up every time I try and run fast. It's manageable, it's not that bad. But also, several other things. My toes, for some reason, my big toes for the last few months have started to hurt, and I think I've got some kind of osteoarthritis of the big toe. So I'm trying to manage that and not make it worse. And I also have quite often a trapped nerve in my neck. So it comes from things that I do with my shoulder. It's all related to my shoulder muscles, and I have to like, I sometimes get a tingly arm from it. So it's all these little things that I think probably happen to you when you get to my age. My body's 60 years old. It's gonna start hurting in certain places. It's just the management of that and trying not to push myself too hard, but at the same time train properly and train hard. Okay, so this week I have done quite a few sessions. 2 were specific Hyrox training sessions. The rest were, well, all my sessions now are a little bit Hyrox focused. So on Thursday I went to a functional fitness session at Neil Marsh Health and Fitness, which is the gym that I go to, affiliated Hyrox gym. But not all the sessions are Hyrox. So this particular session was not Hyrox, but we did AMRAPs. It was brilliant, actually. I loved it. We did AMRAPs, so we did things, lots of different ones, 5-minute AMRAPs. So they involved the ski erg, the rowers, some core, kettlebells, deadlifts, everything that's gonna help me in my training. I ran on Wednesday with the Wednesday gang. So we do a social run on a Wednesday, and it's quite slow. So it's good for me because I can do a fair bit of distance. So I did 7.7 miles is what I did on Wednesday. A fairly slow, chatty pace. So that was good, getting some miles in the legs. Friday, I did something called bells and balls, which is we use the Swiss balls for a lot of core exercises, and the kettlebells. So we did a lot of we did quite a bit of single arm stuff. So clean and press with one arm, clean and press, forward lunge, that kind of thing, and then squat and press, which of course is good training for the wall balls. Then what did we do? So that was another session. Then Saturday was my specific Hyrox session with several other people who are doing Hyrox as well. So we did a mobility warm-up. We did exercise of the day. We looked at techniques for wall balls, and we did them in 3, so we kind of swapped over. We did, I can't remember, we started on 1, then we did 2, and then we did 3. and then we'd swap to the next person. So we used a 3 kilo, a 5 kilo and a 7 kilo. I have been so far using the 3 kilo. I'm okay with the 5. So I think I'm gonna use the 5 in practice now, because the competition weight for me is 4 kilos. So that'll be good to use the 5. The 7 kilo, whoa, I'm glad I'm not using 7 kilo. It really knocked me in the face every time I caught it. My wall balls are actually fairly good, to be honest. I'm okay at that. So I did that, and then we did 400 meters ski or row. Then we ran out of the gate, down to the gate. So it was about, I don't know, 200 meters maybe. 2 lengths of burpee broad jumps, 2 lengths of farmer's carry with a heavier weight than competition weight. And we just repeated that over and over again. So that was really good. And then we had a stretch out. Today on Mondays I do a session on my own. So I usually look up one of the specific Hyrox workouts on the Instagram page. So I chose one of those today. I adapted it a little bit because it had a 1,000 meter run to start with. So what I did was I ran to the gym, 2.6 miles, a little bit more actually, because I had to deviate for the toilet. And then I got there, and my session today was 500 meters ski, 100 meters farmer's carry at 16 kilos, 500 meter row, 30 walking lunges. So I used a 15 kilo bag for that because it's heavier than competition weight. My competition weight is 10 kilos. So I thought, because I'm quite good at the lunges, I'm gonna work with a heavier weight. 50 meter sled push at 85 kilos. Now that's not heavy enough. I know I can push the competition weight, which is 105, but I want to practice on a slightly lower weight. And one thing I noticed was that I felt a bit lightheaded after. I kind of stood up from it. My heart was going quite hard. I stood up from it and I felt a bit whoa. So that's something that I need to look out for in terms of heart rate and just having enough rest, I think. So I rested between each length, each length was 12.5 meters. So I rested a little bit between each one, but yeah, high heart rate. And then I just repeated all that, and then I ran home. So that was my training for today. I've also, I've just registered for the go onto the free 30-day trial of the GoWOD app. So that's a CrossFit mobility app. I've used it a little bit before. So I did mobility test at the end of last year. So it was around about November, and I scored really high. I got 89%. I did it again yesterday and I got 87%. So I've dropped 2% in the, what was it, posterior chain, the muscles down the back and hamstrings. My hamstrings are always tight, and with this old injury, I think it's probably made it a little bit worse, but not too bad. 87% is pretty good, to be honest. But I'm going to work on that. So I did a workout of the day or something it was, but it's specific to me and my needs and what I need, the mobility that I need to work on. So it was mainly hamstrings and shoulders. So I'm a little bit tight on one of my shoulders. That's where my shoulder injury is that causes the trapped nerve in the neck. Yeah, so that's it. That is my update for week 7. I cannot believe that we are so far through this already. I'm not going to count how many weeks there are till the actual competition, but so far so good. Oh yeah, and this morning I was taking the dog out for a walk, and I nearly copped it with my ankle. It was just sort of, the sun was just coming up, the sun was really low, and there was a big hole. I had my walking boots on, put my foot in it, and I just felt it go to one side and crack. And I thought, oh no, that's not, like everything that happens now, you think, oh no, it's going to ruin my competition. Luckily, everything was fine. My ankle is fine, and I put that down to all the balance work that I do. I do an awful lot of it in what I teach. I teach bar and balance. So there's an awful lot of this. So standing on one leg and just waggling this is a bit more technical than waggling your legs around, but it involves standing on one leg, and your ankle, it therefore is forced to become stronger. So and a strong core as well. I've got a strong core. So I think that may have saved me from a twisted ankle. Okay, I will see you again next week.